Good morning, good evening, or good night. Again, I want to thank you and welcome you to this another Bible study. As you notice, we have been in Genesis and we have been taking our time. And one of the things you need to realize that as you're building a building, you need to have a good foundation. And so I've been taking my time to explain and allow you to consider and contemplate. So as you continue in the study, you will see that everything else in the Bible flows out from the beginning, flows out from Genesis. And today, as we study, I will actually point out some of the reasons why you need to understand Genesis, which is included in the Old Testament, to be able to understand what is being said in the New Testament. Last time we were studying about Lot and the city of Sodom. We completed our study in verse 15. Of course, it did not complete the entire story of Sodom and Gomorrah. And so we're going to continue in that line. If you recall, and you can go back to the previous video, if you recall, the angels were sent to notify Lot of what would happen and also to help him escape the destruction that was to come. And so going to verse 15, it says, "And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are there, or which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city." So the angels awoke and they got Lot and it says, listen, arise, take your daughters that are here. If you remember previously, they told Lot to go out and call whoever he could. His family members. Lot had sons-in-laws, he had daughters who were already mature and old enough to be on their own. And they choose not to. As a matter of fact, the way it's described, it seems as if they scorned him when he told of what is to happen and how it is that they're to escape. The same thing occurred during the time of Noah. 120 years he preached for. So the angel said, listen, take whoever you have here. No more time to wait. Lest you be destroyed. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful unto him. And they brought him forth and set him without the city. So even understanding the destruction that was to come, and probably he didn't really understand all the relevance of what was being told him. But the angels actually grabbed their hands and said, listen, let's go. And both the wife and the daughters, and led them out. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for thy life. Look not behind thee. Neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. Said, listen, don't look behind. Look for the goal. Look to get out of here. Get as far as possible is what it would sound like. Go to the mountain. Look not back. I want you to realize that when you're running a race, and we are in a race of life, that our goal is not to look back. You know, many people, they start to consider what they had, where they were. And many times the devil used that to cause us to fall. You start to remember the addictions that we have and the feelings, and sometimes we go back into that addiction trying to get the high that we may have had in the past, never to receive it again. Here, the instruction was, do not look back. Forget all the things that, had entertained you, all the things that you have seen. And it seems like the message was even more so for Lot's family. If you study the story of Lot, you see that Lot himself seemed to have been a righteous man. He was the one who wanted to protect the angels as they came in. But you'll find that if you allow your senses to be entangled with different things, when it comes time for you to move, you will slumber. because the desire of the flesh will want to hold you back. And so the angels had to pull them out of the house and said, listen, go, do not look back. Forget the things that you have experienced. Get as far as you can from this place. Go to the mountains. If you remember, even at the beginning, when it was Abraham and Lot who sojourned from Ur. And as they came and the men grew, Abraham realized that they had to separate because there were some problems within the camp. You know, the men were fighting, Lot's men and Abraham's men. And Abraham actually gave Lot the opportunity to choose. He said, listen, if you go that way, I will go that way. And of course, Lot looked at the plains and the beautiful landscape, and he was like, you know what? I want that. Of course, Abraham was older than he was. He could have thought and said, you know what? It might be more difficult for him to go up the stairs. It would be probably more pleasant for him to be in the plains. But the selfishness, of course, caused Lot to be where he currently found himself. It says, and Lot said unto them, O not so, my Lord. Behold now, thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Here it is, the angel of the Lord said, listen, go to the mountain. He's given him an opportunity to save his life. And Lot, even in all that is going to happen and all that is going on, he's asking, Lord, I know you're telling me to go there, but is it possible that you can allow me to stay just this far? There's another plane, a small city. So many times when the Lord says go and he's directing us, we choose to want to discuss, we choose to want to argue, we choose to want to compromise. I see something better. What did the Lord say? Behold now, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. This is Lot speaking. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. God sends you one place and you ask to go to another. And he said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for which thou hast spoken. This is God speaking now. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. Therefore the name of the city was Zor. The sun was rising upon the earth when Lot entered into Zor. You know, when you have a relationship with God, you can communicate with him. Now, of course, you remember that even the story of what was going to happen was first revealed to Abraham. God said, how can I do this thing and not tell my friend Abraham? Here it is, God accepted the compromise. Said, listen, my direction was go to the mountain, but you've asked for Zor. I'm going to allow you to go there. The sun was rising upon the earth, verse 23, when Lot entered into Zor. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah, brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. I want you to realize that Sodom was destroyed. Another evidence, of course, of God uncompromising love, you can actually say. He's given us instructions. He says there are certain things that we ought not to do. There are certain characteristics that we ought not to have. He has given us, again, commands. And he says, listen, what you sow, you shall reap. He's not willing and wanting for any to be destroyed. But he's not going to compromise because of your likes. And so here it is, Sodom was destroyed. Fire and brimstone fell and destroyed Sodom. And it said here in verse 26 that, but Lot's wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. The instructions from the angels were, don't look back, run, go to the mountains. But she looked back. Why did she look back? You can ask yourself the same question. What is it that the earth has? What is it that you desire so much? What is it that you love so much that prevents you from going full force and with everything in the service of God? There's certain things that will cause us to look back, and those things truly are your gods. Things that you put in place or put before God. Things that hinder your ability to worship. It's always in the back of her mind. And so Lot's wife looked back. Maybe it was her company, the ladies who she had tea with. Maybe it was, her bags. The angel pulled her out and she probably didn't get to bring her, Louis Vuitton bag and their, all the different fandangles that she may have had. What is it that will cause you to look back? Verse 27, and Abram got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord. And he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abram and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow. And when he overthrew the cities in the which Lot dwelt, and Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar, and he dwelt in the cave, he and his 2 daughters. It is very amazing to know that while Lot had asked for a compromise, he still ended up, of course, where God had initially told him to go to. My friends, you need to realize that it's better to be uncomfortable here on earth, living in caves, living in places where you're not tempted, than to lose out on salvation. The reason why it's important to have the foundation, as I said, is because unless you understood the story of Lot, then when you get to the New Testament in Luke 17, you realize that the Old Testament Sodom and Gomorrah is again referred here. This is actually Jesus speaking. When you open it, you'll find that the letters are written in red. Luke 17, verses 28, going onward. It says, and likewise also, as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Things were going on as normal. They were eating, drinking, they were merrymaking, not realizing that it had come to the last. Their probation was now closed. The books of their lives were now sealed. They didn't realize it. But as Lot entered into Zoar, fire and brimstone came down. It says, even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. God is coming again. And it says, in that day he shall be upon the housetop. He which shall be upon the housetop, and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. And he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. We have to be willing to leave everything as it is. We have to be willing even to be prepared to lose our life for Christ's sake. It says, remember Lot's wife. Remember Lot's wife. Remember that there should be nothing between you and God. Even the clothes that we wear, we should be able to shed it, to go. It says, whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it. and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. I tell you, in that night there shall be two men in one bed, one shall be taken and the other left. Two women shall be grinding together, the one shall be taken and the other left. Two men shall be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. Now, this is a principle that many have used to talk about the rapture, the secret rapture. But I want you to contemplate what it says in the end. It says, two will be together, one will be taken and the other left. But where is the other that's left? Verse 37, and they asked the same question. And they answered and said unto him, Where, Lord? And he said unto them, Wheresoever the body is, thither will the eagles be gathered together. God is coming soon. This is telling us that, listen, when he comes, some will be saved. They could be in the same place. One will be taken and the other left. The other that is left is not left to continue. There is no secret rapture. And this is a whole nother study, but I just want you to get the point. The one that is left, it says the eagles gather, the vultures gather the harvest on the body. And you get that also in Isaiah. But remember, the essence of the message today is simply this. Remember Sodom and Gomorrah. Remember the actions that caused God to be displeased. He said, just as it was back then, so it will be. And as a matter of fact, when you look around, you find that so it is. And all we're waiting for right now is the cleansing. One of the greatest cleansers is fire. Are you prepared to leave everything to save your life? God bless.